Let's talk Reds and Rays. Let's talk specifically Rays because our next guest, this is one of the coolest stories I've run across. And as I said, there are hobbies and then there are really, really hobbies. And this is cool. The Tampa Bay Rays have been playing baseball since 1998. I mean, they haven't been around all time, back in the 1900s, but 1998, that's a good chunk of time. Our next guest has a signed baseball from everyone who's ever played, managed, or coached with the Tampa Bay Rays. That is a cool story. Let's get more on it. Pleasure to welcome in Jeff McKinney. Jeff, how are you?
Well, thank you. And you?
I'm well. I just think this is the neatest story. Take me to the start of it. How did you start collecting signed autographs on baseballs of all the Rays?
Well, the kids and I had season tickets out in the right field. The inaugural season year, the bullpen was directly below us, and the kids were noticed by the players after a short amount of time for being regulars, and next thing you know, they're being thrown baseballs during batting practice, a couple game balls here and there. They just started collecting them. Next thing you know, they got about a 5-gallon bucket load of them, and I suggested they start some signed. That's how it started.
Wow. So, can you give me a guess, or I'm guessing you know a precise number? How many autographed baseballs do you have right now?
Just the players and coaches, the uniform personnel, it's a little over 400.
So where does... Now, see, my wife would think of stuff like this, because when I collect things, she says, you don't have room for this. Where do you put a collection of 400 signed baseballs?
Well, here, when we get done, I put ball cubes, label them, and then build a case for them. And then we have a storage facility, one of those climate-controlled things we rent, and we put it in there and preserve it as we can.
Does it ever go on public display, or do you keep it to yourself?
We've been invited ourselves a couple times to the annual Rays Fan Fest. I didn't research the exact amount of times we've done it, but I think it's been a half dozen. And we pull it out. The Rays are nice enough to set up some tables, and we just have a good time sharing it with other Rays fans. We hear a lot of good stories. We get a lot of compliments, obviously.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. So when you do this, can you do advanced work? Can you maybe like minor leaguers who are high on the top 10 Baseball America Rays? Do you get guys in advance that could make the major league level?
We've done a few. The goal is to get guys every spring. Actually, we mark people that we think have a legitimate chance of playing with the team that year or in the near future.
And
other than the one person that I recall chasing around well before he made it to the major leagues was Josh Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
But that's pretty much been it. If they're not a year or so away from being on the team, we don't really know much about them.
Sure. How challenging is the September call-ups, or maybe a guy who's called up as a one-day replacement or insurance for an injury? How tough are those guys?
That's usually the biggest challenge. Joe Madden has a habit of calling up a player for a day or two.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple times where guys have been called up when they've been in other cities. And obviously we're not going to fly off to some city to get an autograph for a day. But somehow, some way, we've been lucky and have managed to get a ball to those individuals. Most of the time, they've come back at least once or twice to the Trop, or we get them at spring training.
As far as you know, is there anything else similar to this for a pro team, baseball, football, basketball, hockey? Does anybody else have anything remotely close to this?
Haven't done a lot of research. It's pretty hard to locate all the collectors in the world. To the best of our knowledge, no. There was one individual in this area that enjoyed our collection so much that after about year 4, he started trying to match us. We even went so far as to help. A couple balls that we had duplicates of, we gave to him just for fun. I think he's given up. I haven't seen or heard much of him as of late. But he followed around for quite a few years, and hopefully we run into him again. It's all in fun.
Jeff McKinney is our guest for just a couple more minutes. He and his family, they collect autograph signed baseballs, and they have a collection that is every Tampa Bay Ray to play, coach, manage since the franchise started in 1998. Are they all brand new baseballs, like out of a box, or some of them, could they be batting practice, game used balls you found in the garage? Or are they all new?
No, the early years, most of those balls came out of that bucket I talked about.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, if they were in good condition, the kids would start chasing the guys around the trop, meaning Tropicana Field.
Yeah.
The last few years, it's been impossible just to collect balls. Plus, we find the newer balls hold the signatures better. Some of the older ones we have, the signatures have gotten a little weak over time. So I recommend new balls, and believe it or not, over the expense of a year, it doesn't cost too much. It's a good investment for a hobby like this.
For those listening who like getting autographs, is there one bit of advice, like rule number one? Is there something you can give to somebody who wants to get autographs that would help?
Be polite. Pretty simple. If you catch a player's ear and he takes the time to come over and respond, just be nice. Make sure to say thank you. Especially for the younger kids, I recommend them be called Mr. addressed properly.
Yeah.
It sounds formal, but I learned early when we started doing this from a couple players that my kids approached how important it is, because they were complimentary about them. They made it a point to know who they were, and they liked that.
Do you, Jeff, over these many years, do you have a favorite Tampa Bay Ray?
Yeah, actually there's a couple that come to mind, but one who most people probably have never heard of is a young guy named Seth McClung.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pitched a short time for the Rays, moved on to Milwaukee, and just recently got cut trying out for the Pirates. But a big right-handed kid from Virginia, was always incredibly nice to people. One of the few guys I've known that not only would take the time to sign for somebody, but talk. He seemed genuinely interested in what fans' perspective was on what was going on around him. And I hope he's doing well. He's a really, really nice young man.
Jeff, I appreciate your time today. I thought this was a cool story, and I'm glad my producer, Lindsay, was able to track you down, and I certainly appreciate your time today.
Oh, my pleasure. We're having fun. And go Rays. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying that.
There you go. Jeff, enjoy your weekend. Thank you.
Same.
All right, take care. Jeff McKinney, a hobby, 400-plus single-sign baseballs of every member of the Tampa Bay Rays, every player, every coach, every manager. You know, Ryan, not only